Parents and teachers, have you heard of social media jet lag or cyberloafing? Well, we're going to talk to you about what these terms mean and how you can use them to help your students be more productive online instead of using it as a pastime. I'm Josh with smartsocial.com. Now, first of all, what are we covering? Well, we're going to talk to you about how social media use is like air travel, flying on an airplane for our brains and our bodies. Next, why social media can become addictive really quickly. What is cyberloafing? How to know if your students are experiencing social media jet lag, a term that you might hear first here, and tips to help them understand the effects of too much social media. The goal of this video is to give you a vocabulary to teach your students so they have a vocabulary of how to avoid these things. Now, why does jet lag impact our bodies? I'm talking about real jet lag. You know, as a guy who's traveled the country for almost a decade teaching this type of stuff in person, I'll tell you what, jet lag is a real deal. Our body's circadian rhythm tells us when to sleep. Jet lag happens when your body's time clock and our internal rhythms are off. You land in a different city and they're on a different time zone. Feeling jet lagged might include being fatigued regardless of how much sleep you get, problems with sleeping, difficulty concentrating, and I gotta be honest with you, it's not just landing in a different time zone, a different country, it's also there's pressurization inside of these big tubes we fly in called airplanes. And in addition, it's loud in there. So you're just being bombarded with all this noise, right? But what is social media jet lag, this term that we're coining? Well, a team of researchers at Cornell University studied the specific habits of social media use, sleep patterns, and a person's general well-being. And they found that participants had similar effects of jet lag after using social media during the day and at night. They had fatigue, not lack of sleep, confusion with daily tasks, and one key takeaway from the study was the later the technology use, the fewer subsequent hours of sleep obtained. That didn't make sense to me, so I'm going to translate it for you. My translation: the closer to bedtime you use your phone, the more it will keep you from getting a restful sleep and hitting your REM deep sleep that we need to feel great the next day. REM being that rapid eye movement sleep so that your students are developing great relationships the next day at school or on Zoom, and they are answering questions, they're alert, they're remembering things, and so on. Now, what scientists say about social media jet lag, they call it social jet lag. I'm inserting the word media, so social media jet lag, because the doom scrolling and everything else. Now, scientists track social jet lag sleeping habits with Twitter data. The effects of social media jet lag spill over to many other aspects of health and well-being. Toiling through this weekly flux has been tied to heavier drinking and smoking, as well as obesity, depression, and even decreased academic performance. Now, how do we cope with social media jet lag? Well, technology and heavy social media use can be the root cause of social media jet lag. And like an addiction to sugar or junk food, students really don't understand or recognize addictive behaviors. Imagine you give your students a whole gallon of ice cream, right? Pretend like this is ice cream. They wouldn't really know when to stop. You give them a huge spoon and a gallon and they're like, cool. And you sit them in front of Netflix. They don't know what to do, right? And that's what we're talking about here today is after they've eaten all that sugar, which is another form of something that sometimes students don't know when enough is enough, they might not know how to describe or tell you, hey, I need less. Now, we know many social media apps and sites are created with the goal of keeping us engaged in the app and scrolling as much as we can. That's where that gallon of ice cream and sugar and everything else comes in. They're like, I don't know when to stop. And between addictive social media tactics and the effects of social media jet lag on our minds and bodies, we can often fall into habits of cyberloafing. What? Cyberloafing? What is cyberloafing? I'm so glad you asked. Cyberloafing is a term used to describe the habit of using social media without a specific purpose. It's very hard to recognize when scrolling social media goes past a relaxing period and into the zone of procrastinating responsibilities. I talk a lot in my speeches about when students are using social media with a purpose instead of a pastime. When we're purposeful, we bully less, We are allowed to be bullied less inside as well. We build things, we do things, we focus on the future, we behave better, and everything else. So what we're talking about is of great importance in our opinion. There were the researchers in the study at Cornell found students were cyberloafing more on days they had late night social media activity and disrupted sleep the night before. Now, we all need a break sometimes, but cyberloafing, the line between rejuvenating and wasting time, the key question is, when does a short break to go on social media, reset after a tough task, turn into procrastination? And this happens, I don't know about you, but I procrastinate all the time. And there's a fine line between cyberloafing to refresh the mind and when people are doing it as an escape from the task because they find the task challenging. Now, you might be a parent that in between talking to your kids and doing stuff, you're online, you're doing things, right? But they're watching us. Students are watching us so much. I want to talk to you about that here in just a sec. We have an activity that you might consider doing that can help the whole family. Now, why should parents care about social media jet lag and cyberloafing? Well, CNN Health says U.S. teens use screens more than 7 hours a day on average, and that's not even including schoolwork. Risks include the potential for youth to be exposed to harmful messages online and for them to become more socially isolated from their peers due to more individualized content viewing. We're not even talking about comparing yourself to others. And students do this all the time. Parents, you might even do this. I know I found myself doing this. That person went on a great vacation. They're married or dating to somebody better looking than I am or whatever. Comparing yourself. Don't compare your spouse to their other spouses, but you get the idea. Students do this all the time. Now, what can parents do to help their students avoid social media jet lag, cyberloafing, and make sure they stayed on the good side of using social media with a purpose? Well, let's talk about encouraging our whole family, students and parents, to do a self-reflection over a week. Let's take notes about what are we doing and how are we working with our screen time. Consider starting a daily social media diary, and I'm sure these are on Amazon for $3, whatever. Figure one of these out or turn it on digitally inside of your phone. You can use your phone's screen time feature to help you track your time realistically. Join one of my free parent night events or webinars to learn how to turn this feature on. We're here to help you at smartsocial.com. Now, also define what counts as a social media for your family, right? There's communication and connectivity, which are the good side of social media, but when it becomes all consuming, it ends up being bad. So does accessing websites on a laptop or computer count? Does texting with friends count, right? I find that when I'm on a laptop having Netflix in the background, it's a lot less of a negative time suck because I'm actually working or researching and doing stuff. But when I'm on my device, which I can't find here, it's fantastic, I can't find it. When I'm on this, it ends up being less productive and more of a pastime. That's for me personally. Steps to record how you feel each day. Step 2, consider keeping note of the time and the number of hours you slept. Was it good, restful sleep? How did you wake up? Did it take long to feel like you were fully awake and ready to go in the morning? Encourage your students to share with others how they're feeling rather than internalizing. Are you feeling positive about hard tasks or does everything seem like a challenge? Are you irritable, generally friendly to everyone or anything else? We want to give students an out of people to talk to about how are you feeling? Are you feeling less? What we're doing is creating a platform and a dialogue your students can give you feedback. We want them to know that too much ice cream can be bad. And I love ice cream, guys. I got to tell you, I absolutely love ice cream. But I know that if I had this much of it, I wouldn't know when to stop. And that's me as an adult, knowing the vocabulary and the issues that my human nature might have with too much of a substance. Your students have that too, and we need to teach them how too much of a substance. Next, are you jet lagged? What to do if you are? Now, step 4, look at your social media diary as a family, your sleep, a log of feelings, and ask yourself if poor sleep or negative feelings are linked to a lot of social media time. You know, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, I also have a little grid of what does a great day look like, a bad day, and every day time I have a great day and I finish something feeling great, I write it down. And if I have a bad day, I write it down. Same is true for your students. Hey, what happened today? Let's write it down and take note. In addition, if you want to get your students really into this, consider doing a little wager. Maybe, hey, if we do this together and if you figure out how to improve our family and all this other stuff, maybe you, as a parent, offer the students something. Maybe it's a wager of some sort. And it doesn't have to be money. It could be, hey, if I lose and if you outperform me on making sure that you can use social media in a productive instead of pastime manner, mom or dad will do something fun. We will, whatever, we'll dress up for this occasion or something fun, and you guys can make fun of us. I don't know. Have fun with it. You know your family better than anybody else. Work as a family to build boundaries for time to use social media and the amount of time that is beneficial for social connections, but not detrimental to your sleep. Keep in mind as well, your students are watching. Give them full freedom to criticize you because they see things. Tell them, hey, it's okay if I'm not doing this. Tell me to put my phone down and I'll do that. But there's times when I should put it down. There's also times that I'm going to tell you to put it down. Hold each other accountable. Consider putting all electronic devices in a common area of the home before going to bed. Go on Amazon or anywhere else and buy one of those chargers that charges 6 phones every night. You can charge your iPads, your phones, and everything else in a certain area in your bedroom. Put them on silent. Don't let them vibrate in the middle of the night because that's going to drive you crazy. Now, how can students self-regulate? Helping students understand social media addiction and the physical side effects can be eye-opening. A hands-on reflection can help them understand how they feel for themselves. And this could be a one-day, or I would suggest a one-week program that you do as a family. A family reflection and conversation can hold everyone accountable to understand social media jet lag and reduce the effects for the whole family. Now, do you want to know more about helping your students in your school, in your community? Well, ask your school to reach out to us about our subscription to our Very Informed Parents VIP program. All of our members, and a lot of schools will buy access to this. A lot of our members love this because they say that they get access to live and on-demand recordings by yours truly. I'm going to help you understand the most popular social media tools. I'm going to give you walkthroughs of how to use various app settings to keep your family safer online, and also tips to continue discussions with your students. I'm huge on dialogue, as you can see right now. Also, don't forget about my newsletter. My team puts together some incredible stuff. I think we're the hardest working people in this business. Subscribe to our Smart Social newsletter. We send out app guides and other important social media safety updates about every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and review. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up, that like, that love, whatever. Help us to help parents just like you. Please rate, subscribe, and review. I'm Josh Oakes with smartsocial.com. Thank you for all the support. We really appreciate it. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.